Greetings, everyone. I'm Mitch Juricich, and welcome to Hooked on the Niners.
And I'm Terrell Jones, and we're going to talk about the great win against the Rams, which was a heck of a battle.
Are these seats really filled?
Yes.
If anybody saw the show last week, you know that I'm Jerry Walker, and it was a lot more enjoyable. No, I mean, yesterday's game was a lot more enjoyable.
There you go.
It's a good win, and we're going to talk about that team from up north coming in this week.
Right, and as you'll find out as we go along in the show, it is our poetry edition. So don't frown. Dan Brown is in town. Oh, that was.
And the poetry edition right now.
That's probably not a bad idea. We won't have any more poetry when you come back to on the Niners.
Hooked on the Niners is supported by the Canyon Inn, 650-369-1646, and on the web at www.canyoninn.com. Bach Construction, 650-344-4844, or on the web at www.bachconstruction.com. Lawson's Wildlife Adventures, 650-504-3400. On the web at www.lawsonwildlifeadventures.com. Tisa's Pepper Jelly, 650-787-2357. And on the web at tisaspepperjelly.com. Check out the Peninsula TV studio with over 2,000 square feet of space in the auditorium of the Samtrans building in San Carlos. One studio, many looks. From a simple talk show to an onstage production, from musical performances to business webcasts, PowerPoint presentations, Skype interviews. With our state-of-the-art control room, we're one mouse click away from going live from our studio to the internet or to Peninsula TV. For more information, call 650-637-1936 or use the Contact Us form at pentv.tv.
All right, welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. Things are starting to heat up. We're getting close to the playoffs. And guys, I'll just start off by saying that was a pretty big game yesterday as we taped the show. I think the Rams had scored like 80 points against their last two opponents something like that. And except for just a touchdown in the prevent defense near the end of the game, that was a pretty stellar performance by the 49er defense.
Yeah, great job by the defense. Then on offense, we've talked time and time again, what happens when Crabtree comes back? Is he the missing piece? Is he going to open things up? He comes back on the field, and it opens up. Now, some of that is coincidence, because I think Vernon had a great game, Anquan had a great game, but having Crabtree back, I think, did what we thought it might do, and that is settle Kaepernick down, give him a little confidence boost, and he looked terrific again.
I think we brought that up since week 2, since the loss in Seattle. I mean, I'm sure the folks out there got tired of us saying that, but one guy does make that much difference, I guess.
He definitely can. Well, yesterday he did for sure.
Yeah.
Coincidental or not coincidental, you have to consider this guy's on this side. How good is he going to be today?
Right.
So you got to. It's like Q said. It's fun to have him get some double coverage now, maybe.
Right.
So yeah, he does. He did help this week. Coming up next week, well, could be a different story.
Let's go to our resident expert in physical fitness. The Achilles injury.
Right.
I mean, we know that that's a serious thing, can be career-threatening.
Right. Yeah.
But should all of us worry, and I'm sure that a lot of the folks out there were worried every time he caught the ball that the next step is going to snap it again. Should we worry about that?
No, not at all.
Really?
The way that.
Because it's not happening to us.
Right. But also too the way that medical technology is nowadays. He looks like he's 100%.
Yeah.
But the one thing that he did miss, and you kind of expect this because it's his first game back, he didn't have that speed. Because when he caught that pass, if it was the old Crabtree, he would have scored.
Right.
And, he's just shaking off some rust. So, he'll be fine.
Right.
He'll be fine.
Right. Now, do you foresee, because you cover the NFL, they've put rules in to eliminate head-to-head contact, helpless receivers, all that sort of stuff. Do you think that there'll be a new rule saying you can't tackle a guy by the groin after what happened?
Only if he hurdles you.
Yeah. Vernon Davis might have voted in favor of that.
Oh, man, that was hard to watch.
I win. I said he'd bring it up in the first 5 seconds.
You got it.
Does the defender get credit for a sack?
Oh! But isn't that? But isn't there a rule? Hand a helmet?
Oh, jeez. Right about now, you might want to put the kids away, have them go to bed, and I apologize for that. No, seriously, I mean, we're laughing about that, but Vernon certainly wasn't, and that's just one of those things that happens. I guess it just goes to show you can't legislate against everything.
Right.
I mean, we've talked about this before. I lower my helmet to tackle you, so I'm hitting you in the proper place, and you lower your helmet, and voila.
That was not the proper place.
No, that was okay. We're getting off of that. Let me jump to Colin Kaepernick. The first game against Green Bay, and then last year against Green Bay, and in the playoffs, I think he set a standard that we thought, wow, this guy's going to throw for 350 every game, run for about another 75, not throw interceptions, go to 6 different receivers on every play, and that hasn't happened. But the last 2 weeks, is this the Colin Kaepernick we can now expect? He's not Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, and he's not running all the time, but is this his norm?
He's not going to have a perfect game every weekend out.
Right.
But he's going to get better every week.
Right.
And this is more what we talked about. Mm-hmm. As he gets better each week, you're going to see some games like he's having the last couple. Right. Again, rather than everybody going, what's wrong with Cap? What's wrong with Cap?
Yeah.
Right. Good athlete, and the NFL is all about you try something new. It works for a while, but then everybody else in the NFL knows how to stop it.
Right. It's copycat league.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So, but I think this game was probably one of his best games that he managed very well.
Right.
And there's times, they even brought this up when you're watching, and we've talked about this before, is that there's times where he'll get locked on one receiver.
Right. Yeah.
But then the second half, then he started going through his progression. And
right.
that's just him growing as a quarterback.
Right.
So I thought he played a very, very good game yesterday.
There was one play that looked like Montana. He looked this way, the camera was still on him.
Yep.
He pulled back, he looked this way, the camera was still on him, he pulled back, fired one.
I think he threw the ball to Miller on that play for about a 15 to 20-yard game. How do you assess his progress?
Well, same thing. I mean, I think that the concern has been, is he a one-read guy? And can he make those second, third reads? And is he even scanning the field? Because I think we've seen sometimes, from the snap, his eyes are locked on one guy. Mm-hmm. But I wrote it down yesterday. Bolden, 9 catches for 98.
Right.
Vernon Davis, 4 for 82. Crabtree had 2 catches, but for 68 yards. So you got 3 guys all with pretty big yardage total. That's a great sign for Kaepernick, because that's what he needs to do. And the running game didn't have a huge game to support him. Right. So getting all those receivers involved, good sign for Kaepernick. Yeah.
Well, now I know back in the day, Bill was not a fan of the screen pass. He just wasn't a big screen pass guy. But can we effectively say that apparently the Niners today are not a pass to the back type of team? It just doesn't seem that we use the one out in the flat very much. Forget the one to Miller, that was over the middle. Right. Is it gone from the repertoire?
I don't think it's gone from the repertoire, but I think that it hasn't come up.
Right.
It was more often than not that you'd have Roger Craig or Tom Rathman coming out of the backfield. Mm-hmm. They weren't always the outlet pass. They weren't always the safety.
They were the primary.
That was the design, the primary.
Yeah.
So maybe it's gone from primary to back up to safety or whatever. Right. But I don't think it's out.
No.
I
agree.
When they've used it, it's worked pretty well, except for maybe yesterday was a game they had one where it looked like we're ready for it, throw a screen.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a time in his career when Frank Gore loved catching the ball out of the backfield.
I thought he was terrific at it, too. He's got great hands.
He wanted to be in the Brian Westbrook class where he was a real dual threat back, and that's kind of vanished. Maybe it's age, maybe it's play calling, whatever, but he's certainly capable if they wanted to go that route.
Yeah.
Well, I think that some of these teams are looking at like, okay, you know what? Let's make Kaepernick beat us. Let's key on Frank Gore.
Yeah.
You look at the Rams, their front line is phenomenal.
Oh,
they're very good. So
yeah.
I don't think, passing to the back, and even with their linebackers, I don't think that it worked. But I guess, against other teams, I think it would work.
Right.
So.
Like our offensive line, which we'll talk about in a second, has a lot of first-round picks. So does their defensive line. They've got some real talent there. How worried should we all be about the fact that our all-pro side of our offensive line is now out? Well, we don't know if Upati or Staley is going to be back for a very important Seattle game. But that's one part of the question. The second part is, the backups. You know, when they signed Adam Snyder in the offseason, it was a little thing in the paper about that size.
Right.
That was a big move.
That was a big move, and that's Looney's second game, maybe.
Second game, yeah.
I mean, so that's a little relief.
Yeah.
But you got to be worried because those guys played together for how many years?
Yeah.
Well, and you're right, but also too, look at the last couple of weeks. Look how many sacks they've given up the last couple of weeks.
They have.
Right.
They've given
they
up
gave
a
up
lot of
4
sacks.
yesterday.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
4 early.
Right, and if you didn't have a quarterback like Kaepernick who could run,
right,
it probably would have been more.
Right.
So now you, like we talked about, Seattle's coming to town next week.
Yeah.
We got to look at that as well. So.
Losing Mike Iupati, I mean, he's a special.
Yes.
Because of his size and athleticism, they can make some play calls that they couldn't ordinarily do. He's so quick at getting out on sweeps. He can pull and get downfield and take out any size defender you've got.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have those plays now. Nobody can do what Mike Iupati can do.
Yeah.
I think Alex Boone did a great job yesterday at left tackle, moving in for Staley.
Yes.
But the shuffling, I think you alluded to this, when you kind of change everything along the line, that can create some havoc.
Oh, yeah.
Control your timing.
Right. Now, I'm wondering, on certain pass plays, are they going to keep somebody else in the backfield to help protect Cap? Because
you wonder if things get bad enough, if it'll be somebody like Kilgore. Like they put him in for the run package. Who knows if they, put him in for the pass package. It just kind of seems, as we go to break here, it just kind of seems like the 49ers make up their mind when they come into a game, we're going to pass today or we're going to run today. Right. There's not a whole lot of the balance yet. That may be coming now with Crabtree back. All right, we got to go to break here. When we come back, Jerry's got some show and tell for the museum down at the new stadium, and we'll talk a little bit more about this past game right here on Hooked on the Niners.
I was going to say, can you hand me my sack?
Hooked on the Niners is supported by California Catering, San Mateo, 650-345-4881. On the web at CaliforniaCateringSanMateo.com. California Catering South San Francisco, 650-589-0729. On the web at www.california-catering-company.com. California Catering Emerald Hills, 650-369-4200. On the web at www.cacateringcompany.com. Bay 101 Casino, 408-451-8888. On the web at bay101.com.
Hi, I'm Katie Roletto, and I'm a local professional media producer. Thanks to Penn TV's volunteer program, I was able to expand upon my experience and gain some amazing training in the areas of television production right here in the Bay Area. The staff at Penn TV is very skilled and experienced in all aspects of technical production and really helped me learn and grow. If you're interested in finding out more about Penn TV's volunteer program, please visit them at www.penntv.tv and click on the volunteer tab. Thanks, Penn TV.
All right, welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. I guess if we had to tie a bow around the victory yesterday over the Rams, it kind of, they all are must-win games, going forward. Right. I mean, there's still a chance to catch Seattle. I mean, it's a slim chance. But the game, we're at that point where the games are bigger and bigger and bigger as Jerry starts emptying his bag here, getting ready for the show and tell, and I'm a little afraid of what this stuff might be. But that's the type of game that a team like the 49ers has to win.
Right. And, here's two things that stuck out in my mind yesterday. Number one is that they kind of let the Rams hang around for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
That worried me.
Yeah. So, now that you're getting deeper and deeper into, the playoff situation, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But also, too, their composure.
Right.
I mean, what did they have? 9 penalties for 85 yards? And there was a lot of chipping going back and forth.
Yeah.
So they got to start watching that, too.
Yeah. I hate to admit this. You know how I don't like to admit someone's right. Oh, you do know. Okay, all right. You figured it out
it's
this
all
far.
on tape.
It's all on tape. Okay. Just before the game, I was sending out an email about today, and Jerry said it was going to be 49ers are going to wipe them out. We're going to rout them. And actually, you would have been right if in the red zone we'd have been a little right. better earlier on. That could have been. And I guess in a way we did rout them because remember in the Mike Nolan days, at no point, when they were really bad, did I ever think we were going to win the game or score. And that's how I felt about the Rams yesterday. I thought, at no point do I think we got to worry about their offense.
It was not as close as the final score indicated.
Right, exactly.
I never worried.
Yeah.
I worried. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I worried real quickly. Real quickly, I worried. Don't keep them in the game. Don't let them hang around.
Yeah.
But other than that, I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
Oh, we should mention the amazing game Vernon Davis had. He
apparently was a high hurdler at some point.
The two hurdles.
Yeah, a state champion somewhere.
Name any other tight end in the league who can do that right now.
Yeah.
And I give him a lot of credit because when he first came in the league, that's all he was this athletic guy who could run and he was big, but his football instincts were there, and it's really come together. Obviously, he runs great routes. He's got much better hands because he's worked on those things. So
he cradles it a lot, though. He's not a catcher.
He's got a pretty good jump shot.
The jump shot is good.
As long as he catches the ball.
Yeah, I like him scoring about 6 jump shots a game. That'd be awfully nice. I hate to change the subject so diametrically, and we don't have much time in this segment, but Jerry's going to unwrap some stuff. These are the types of things that are going to go into the museum, and what, pray tell, have we there? There's a paperweight of some sort.
It's a good-sized paperweight.
Can I guess where that's from?
I think you might get it. Go ahead.
Kezar Stadium.
Cross the pond from there.
Cross the pond from there.
And here's a hint for you.
Russia.
That's a Russian guard's helmet.
Okay. Really?
Uh-huh. And this is a chunk of the Berlin Wall.
Whoa.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
They let you out with that?
Yeah, well, here's the one that we were worried about getting out with.
Knocked down the Berlin Wall.
Here's the one we were worried about getting out with.
What?
That's an actual Bobby's helmet.
Is that backwards?
You got it backwards.
You got it cheap.
Actual Bobby's.
We can't sit.
Here.
Boy, oh boy.
Let's just show the seat cushion.
So these are all games that the 49ers did. When did you guys play in Russia?
Well, we didn't play in Russia, but we were in Berlin a year after the wall came down, and there were still remnants of the Russian guard gates.
So you knocked down the wall and mugged the guard and got out of the Eastern Bloc unscathed?
No, but I traded a 49ers helmet for this.
Did you really?
And if you look carefully, this has got our Bobby, who was with us all week.
Yeah.
Someone unloaded a gun at him, and he missed with all the shots, thankfully, but then threw the gun at him as the Bobby attacked him. Somewhere here, I don't have my glasses, but somewhere here is a little...
Right there?
Yep.
Can we show that to the camera? Show that over there? I don't know if we're going to be able to see the dent. Maybe we can get a cutaway later or what. That is pretty interesting. Now, these aren't the guys that don't smile, right? No, that's what is that?
Those are the palace guards.
Oh, the palace guards. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't get out.
Those are the guys that don't carry guns.
Right. Well, because they have a rule there that if you touch one of those guys, you can go to jail for a long time.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. So anyhow. So
and this is from Tokyo.
Okay.
When
what is that?
The new Atani. You don't get a bathrobe in Tokyo. When you stay in a hotel room, you get a kimono. Is that a kimono?
Are you going to model it here?
I am
it's
not.
It's a kimono.
Kimono, yeah.
Isn't a kimono something that'll eat you?
It's a dragon.
Yeah.
Kimono is
okay.
After you get hit. Anyway, and then this is a seat cushion
from the game in Osaka.
In Osaka.
Right.
So today's show and tell is all kind of about our foreign
travels.
Yeah.
And all this stuff will be on display in the museum.
Along with jerseys from the Mexico City game, and we've played in a few places.
Wow.
Barcelona.
That is pretty cool stuff.
And then we're probably coming close to the end.
No, that's okay. We can go into the next segment.
This is non. Well, he would have worn these in foreign territory, but these are a pair of Jerry Rice's game-used gloves.
Really?
Yeah. There's probably some residue from footballs right there.
No.
From all his catches.
Yeah, he caught just a few.
Right? Yeah. He's still the best. He's still the best. Well, now, what gets me about this is, and now you were telling us before before we started this the show, you don't necessarily travel with the team all the time, but in playoffs, the traveling, the amount of work that goes into planning one of these trips has to be just
a lot.
insurmountable, and as well for you guys. I mean, to get there and.
Having covered like the Niners trip to London, for example, not this most recent one, but the Mike Singletary trip, the amount of coordination that the NFL has to get involved with in securing all the hotel rooms and the travel accommodations and the security at a place like Wembley Stadium, it is a massive undertaking.
Right, and it's not like for a home game now, you have your parking pass, your press pass, you know where to go, where to park, walk into the stadium, you know the drill. Now you go on the road here where do I go? What do I do? Somebody take me by the hand and walk me in there.
And guys like Steve Risser with the 49ers, they do a lot of the planning, and the equipment people have to put in extra planning and have to take extra gear with them, and you got weeks of practices. I don't know where I think they practiced at their facilities. I mean, at their resort they stayed at this year. When we went to London, we practiced at Crystal Palace. So you got buses from the hotel to Crystal Palace, back to the hotel. And you got to make it a little bit interesting. You got to do some sightseeing planning, and it's like a Super Bowl.
This is something that probably costs a team like $10,000, $20,000.
Yeah, at least.
$10,000 or $20,000.
But I will say this: if you're part of the staff and you're a player or whatever, they make it they make it easy for you.
Yeah.
They give you the itinerary, tell you where to go. I mean, when we went to Japan, we had no problems whatsoever. You walk in, there's your key to your room, there's your room, your meals are here. They make it very, very easy.
Yeah.
And the NFL does a great job at it as well.
Yeah,
so.
Good stuff. Appreciate it as always. All this stuff will be down in that museum when it opens up next year. We're not that far away. All right, when we come back, it's Seattle week. I'm a little scared. Talk me off the ledge when we come back.
Hooked on the Niners is supported by Parkside Grill, 650-529-9007. On the web at www.parksidegrill.net. Handlery Hotel, 1-800-995-HUSH. The website is www.handlery.com. Poplar Creek Golf Course, 650-522-4653. And on the web at www.poplarcreekgolf.com. Eddie Perez and Company, 650-363-5904. On the web at www.eperezpainting.com. Armstrong Carpet and Linoleum Company, 415-751-2827. On the web at www.armstrongcarpet.com.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. We're right in the middle of a story that we'll get to a little bit later. Wish it was something we could share. Game coming up, Seattle, as I said before we went to the break, I'm a little concerned. They're a little banged up in the secondary. We're a little banged up on the offensive line. Does that even it out, Dan?
Yeah, and I think the big evening out factor is going to be the venue. Candlestick Park, which is, we've seen what happened in Seattle. The last two meetings, both in Seattle, Seattle's won 71-16 combined score of those past two games.
God, I feel better.
But I think that Candlestick crowd, this is really, if you think about it, the last big game that Candlestick Park might ever have.
Right.
And I think that crowd is going to be revved up.
Yep.
I think there's a little bit of audio revenge going on. I think they're going to try to make a ton of noise to disrupt Seattle's offense, and I think that might, even things out a little bit.
Okay, all right.
Well, here's what I think, too. And, I mean, those are great points. But if Seattle loses tonight to the Saints, which would not surprise me.
Yeah, we don't know as we're taping this if they've lost or not.
Especially with everything that's going on with their DBs. Now, all of a sudden, we got a bigger game.
Yeah.
And then plus, Seattle goes on the road, twice against us and to New York.
Yeah.
And the Giants aren't laying down for anybody right now.
Right.
So there's a good chance that, that the Niners could win the division.
All in my plans.
And plus after, we're putting the cart before the horse here, but after the Niner game, they not only have to play the New York Giants, I think they have to play St. Louis and Arizona.
Yeah.
And I don't know if one of those two games is either in.
They're both at home. They're both at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But formidable opponents. There's no question. What's it going to take for us to beat Seattle, Jer?
Have to play a complete game.
Perfect game almost.
Near perfect.
Yeah.
But the defense has to step up as it has all year.
Yeah.
Offense has to play a little better.
Let me throw this out. That defense looks to me like before Justin Smith got hurt in New England, they've got it seems like that swagger, that swarmy, hitting nature to them.
How about Navarro Bowman?
Navarro Bowman.
He's
how about
really
the interchangeable parts?
Oh yeah.
Gerard Eddy is he third string? He was
I think
was he on the
was.
taxi squad last year?
Yeah.
He was on the practice squad.
Practice squad, yeah.
Practice taxi. I'm dating myself. They've done this essentially with a lot of backup. You know, they don't have Ian Williams. They didn't have Ray McDonald for a while. And then guys like Scuda and Corey Lemonnier are not getting on the field anymore.
But when they are, they're playing. I mean,
yeah,
they're performing.
right. They're performing. So the team's really deep.
But you know, and you're right. But you know, you got guys like Scuda who's not playing now. But when they get on special teams, they're trying to show. Look, I deserve to be on the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
And I have to kind of eat crow here. Remember the beginning of the year when I said I'm a little worried about Phil Dawson?
Yeah.
This guy's money.
Yeah.
He is money.
We don't listen to you anyway, Terrell. I mean,
thank you.
After what you say, we just.
I appreciate that.
I think these Seattle 49ers matchups, it's become the best rivalry in pro sports.
Yeah.
They're both top tier, championship level talent.
Right.
Great coaches and a legitimate dislike for each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's just fascinating theater. And the winner of this game is probably going to win the NFC.
2 minutes. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Oh, Jesus. Well, one of the things that, Russell Wilson, I think, is terrific. Little Russell Wilson, itty bitty Russell Wilson. He could be on this show without sitting down. Anyhow, but he is absolutely fabulous. Yeah. And we are going to have to sack him, and by that I mean grab him and knock him down.
Legally sack him.
Legally sack him a bunch of times. I mean, we're going to have to get at him and disrupt him.
And he goes deep. He goes deep so well.
Yeah, he does. All right, we've only got a minute and a half left. Give me your scenario.
It won't be a blowout.
No?
It's going to be a close one.
Okay.
And Niners will win it.
Just give me a rough idea of a score. A lot of scoring, a little scoring?
No, medium, intermediate. 24-21.
Okay. Terrell?
I'm going to say the Saints will beat Seattle.
Okay.
So we're going to go into a tie.
Okay. All right.
And we're going to win. We'll beat Seattle 20-17.
20-17.
I will take Seattle. 24-17.
Enjoy your last time on the show here, by the way.
I just think Seattle's defense is so good and so smart. I'll be curious how they do the chess match with Kaepernick.
Yeah, I'm looking
with the two DBs in a little bit of problem.
We'll see about the Seattle depth.
Yeah. I'm going to go 49ers like 16-10. Something like that, real low-scoring defensive game. Before we go, Dan Brown has a book out. It's perfect for Christmas. What every 49er fan should know and do before they die. It's available at Amazon.com. He didn't bring a copy here today to show you.
There's one over there.
There's one over there, which is a little too late. Fabulous book. Perfect stocking stuffer for Christmas. All right, guys. I think hands in the middle. The three of us, Niners win. Right. We'll see you next time here on Hooked on the Niners.
He's on your side of the table. You need to sack him.
Yeah, I need to sack him. Santa Claus carries a big old sack.